Will.
How we doing?
Yeah, I'm good. My phone has been so angry with me. It's not wanted like you to join. It's not wanted me to go live, but we're here. You're sideways.
Yeah, if I put it like that, does nothing happen?
No, no, you just look like a sideways cowboy.
Class, right, okay. In that case, I'll go for it. I'll try and balance.
That's good. Yeah.
I'll hold. I'll hold.
You're just gonna well that'll keep it snappy because the arm cramp will prevail, you know.
Indeed.
How
How
are
you
you
doing?
doing? Oh God, I'm very well. Happy Ireland Day.
Yeah, and to you.
I was going. Yes, I went upstairs to put on my tight lines t-shirt because I was like, you know what? I'm talking to Will. I'll put on my tight lines t-shirt, and then I saw my Guinness t-shirt, and I was like,
You've got
it's
to.
St. Patrick's Day. I have to wear it.
Yeah, fair play.
So yeah, let's launch into some spiel, shall we?
Nice. Okay.
So, to anyone who's watching this, maybe for the first time or who's come back, I'm Ash, and I do marketing communication at Launchpad. And Launchpad is a talent development program that works with artists and also projects across Yorkshire. So we normally run these Instagram lives and we talk to artists, but today we are joined by the wonderful and lovely and ever joyous Will Lakin, who is a massive, massive part of Tight Lines, who are a Launchpad supported project. So yes, Will, welcome.
Thank you. I feel welcome.
As long as you feel welcome, as long as you feel it. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and Tight Lines?
Sure thing. So, Tight Lines is kind of a jack of all trades, master of some, kind of like music, arts kind of organization. But I suppose if you had to pigeonhole us, you call us a record label. And we kind of like focus around like the jazz, new jazz, left field experimental hip hop soul scene in Leeds, I suppose. And yeah, we put out records and we do live sessions and we host radio shows. And yeah, as we started, we do events as well. We run our own festival called Salamango Festival once a year at Hyde Park Book Club. And we do Tight Lines Jam at Hyde Park Book Club. And we do Chill With Us at Assembly House, which is our kind of multidisciplinary kind of like big bash. So yeah, that's us.
Amazing.
And I'm Will.
You're Will. You're the person. You're Jack. You're the one making it all together. And there's nothing I miss more than Tight Lines fence right now.
Me too.
I bet. Yeah, so as you said, you guys do like an absolute massive range of things, and you've been going for quite a few years now in Leeds. And I suppose it would be really interesting because we've not talked to anyone who's on a Launchpad project before to just talk a little bit about the things that you had done before you applied to Launchpad projects and what about it seemed or why you got involved with it, what drew you to that as an opportunity.
For sure. So I suppose before we got involved with Launchpad, like we were very kind of, well, to an extent we still are, but we're quite a kind of, I suppose we were a bit of a disorganized group, just doing lots of things we just love. But I suppose what drew us to Launchpad was to kind of like cross that bridge between kind of like being a DIY collective who just exists in Leeds and kind of like to try and develop into kind of like a more sustainable, more organized kind of organization, I suppose. You know, how do we kind of bridge that gap between just being a group of mates in Leeds doing the thing that we love, and how do we make this into like something that's long lasting and has a good impact? And yeah, that's what drew us, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think that makes so much sense, doesn't it? Because if you, like you said, like I know you all, I know what you're like together. It's massively fun and not always the most organized, but full of passion for what you want to do. And it's like really important to get those skills in place to make sustainable and to make it work, because otherwise like friendships start to get a bit tense.
Yeah.
Plan and like for it to stay something that is just about doing something you're passionate about, I kind of need the skills. So whenever you applied for Launchpad, what were you hoping to get out of it, and what have you got out of it?
What were we hoping to get out of it? So I think one thing that we really wanted to work on was our kind of like relationship with, I suppose, like the law and like kind of like how do we become like a more official, legitimate organization, you know. How do we contractually sign bands, for example? We're a record label, but before we kind of did anything with Launchpad, we had never like signed a contract with a band. So that was kind of like a big thing. And yeah, we've kind of been ran through that quite a lot. We've been on board with Tony doing mentoring sessions, and they've been super helpful. And he's helped us kind of like develop that kind of element of tight lines, I suppose. And another thing we wanted to chat about was kind of like our relationship and I suppose policies with regard to kind of like inclusion and diversity and accessibility within tight lines. We are essentially just a group of white guys mainly, and it's something we recognize that actually we need to kind of like work on doing better for not white guys. So yeah, we've been talking about how we can improve our organization with regard to that as well. I think they're kind of like the two main chunks that we were like, we want to kind of really develop those kind of things, basically. Yeah.
I think people often don't realize that you can get help to do things like this as well. People
For sure.
go, oh no, we're doing this thing, or we want to improve on this thing, and that's just a flaw that we have, without realizing like someone can help us overcome that. We can talk to someone who can help us put some strategies in place, or just some ideas for how we can do better. It's not like it's not your Achilles heel, basically. And there's people who are out there who want to help you and want to give you their skills and their knowledge for free. It's amazing.
It is.
You mentioned that you've been talking with Tony. So Tony, for anyone who doesn't know, is the director of Come Play With Me, who are like a 7-inch singles club in Leeds, and they support a lot of amazing people, and they identify, you know, a lot of people who maybe aren't as represented as they should be in the industry, and they kind of try and give them an extra push. So what was it like being paired up with Tony? Was that like a connection that you had beforehand, and has that been valuable?
Yeah, it was actually. In fact, I think Tony in some ways has helped us in a developmental sense, like before we like kind of started with Launchpad. Actually, like I kind of first met him a couple of years ago, and I was really happy to know that he was the guy giving the mentor sessions, because I know he's super sound. But yeah, no, it's just been really great to like, at the very least, just have like a soundboard, if you know what I mean, someone to talk through like ideas with, kind of having like an objective kind of view on things. Obviously, when we have tight lines meetings and stuff, we have like good discussion about ideas and how we want to run things. But it's really cool to hear someone's view, who's obviously very experienced in the industry as well, hear their view on things from an objective point, and yeah, just chatting to someone and them being like, oh, well, maybe you should try this, or maybe you shouldn't try that. Or like even being like, oh, actually, I have a link for that, and like I can put you in contact with this person. And yeah, so within that regard, it's been super helpful.
Yeah, because we've actually had mentoring for Mamila, which is my band, through Launchpad, and it's it's really great to have someone there who you can kind of go, you know, we had this idea. Is that a good idea? And they're either like, yeah, and you're like, okay, great, we can now fully commit to doing that idea, or they're like, no. And you don't have to spend like a month trying something that someone else can just say that's not going to work, or you'd be better putting your energies elsewhere. I think mentoring is actually so underappreciated as something that can really, really help, because it doesn't feel as tangible. It's not like, right, here's £1,000, go do something. It's like, let's talk about what you might do if you had £1,000.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think with like referring to what you were saying earlier as well, I think within music, it's like it seems like a lot less of an option to get funding or to get mentoring. I think in other kind of like artistic disciplines, it's much more of like a thing to be done. But I think Music Leeds and Launchpad and the work they've been doing over the past couple of years in Leeds, it's just like amazing. I think it's amazing that like people like us are getting the support from, you know, from a group like that.
And I think something that I find really amazing about it is that if an organization such as Launchpad or Music Leeds or Bradford Music or whatever it is didn't exist, there would just be void in that space, you know, like, and because we have it, and like whatever Leeds Music Leeds was already kind of here, so I already kind of knew about it. I kind of took it for granted, but then realizing like, wait, there mightn't be anything where there's platforms for emerging professionals and musicians to kind of find opportunities and progress. Ed's just joined. That's really funny.
Yeah. Is he just like next door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to thought. Yeah, social call out. And like without organizations doing that, there would just be a void. And like organizations are there because they want to help people. So if you are watching this or listening to this and you're kind of thinking, oh, I've been doing little bits and I kind of want some help, like get in touch, because like that's exactly why we're here. We want to help people. So I was going to ask, if the spreadsheets are not lying to me, I believe you've had some funding through Launchpad. Is that correct?
We have. The spreadsheets aren't lying.
Oh, spreadsheets never lie, Will. That's why.
It's true.
You're really inefficient at them. I don't know. But yeah, so what did you get funding for? And have you done anything with it yet?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of as a result of the conversations I had with Tony with regards to inclusion and diversity. And we decided that what we wanted to do was essentially set up a subsidiary label under Tight Lines called Citizens Assembly Records, which would be like a wholly community focused kind of organization, basically. Like Tight Lines is great and it does like really great things within the community. But there's also kind of, you know, we're all in the projects that are within Tight Lines. And if you boiled it down, they are essentially vanity projects. Do you know what I mean? They're our bands. We want to promote our music and be artists. And we wanted to create an entity which could do only kind of community focused stuff. So yeah, we basically got funding from Launchpad to do some community projects where basically, it's basically, you know, I'm going to go from the top. It's basically, there's 3 stages to the project we are trying to do. And the first stage is basically to record already existing artists, groups, or musicians who are from marginalised groups, basically. And that particular funding was to record a Bangladeshi band who rehearse in Aigra a lot. So that is what that funding's for.
Amazing. I actually didn't know that that's what it's for. That's so exciting. The reason I had a delayed response is because I was so enjoying listening to you about it. That's really cool. And like, it's amazing as well that you've tied in some of the developmental things that you've oh my God, sentences have seen that you want to develop in. You are now following through with the funding to help that happen. You just had the funding or you just had the mentoring. You mightn't have gone in that direction, but the support combined means that you're able to do this. So if that stage, are we allowed to know what stages 2 and 3 are?
Absolutely. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I was hoping to ask.
So that's stage 1, recording already existing bands or artists or musicians from marginalised groups. And then stage 2 is to set up essentially like kind of an artist development kind of like arm of Citizens Assembly, where we'd put like an open call out to musicians from marginalised groups who basically don't have the access or capacity or skills to record a record, but they are either instrumentalists, vocalists. Basically, they want to record a record, but they don't for whatever reason. And then stage 3 is essentially like a community band. Kind of like a community big band, essentially, which kind of is focused around like education and expression. And obviously from our background, that'll be channeled through jazz, blues, improvised music stuff. So yeah.
That's beautiful. That sounds really nice. I feel like that ties in a lot of the skills that people in the group already have.
Yeah,
you know, you're not inventing the wheel here. You're doing things that you guys can already do, but you're
Yeah.
just changing the people that it's for, which is really cool.
Yeah, fully.
Listen, I'm very excited for all this to happen.
Yeah, me too.
I hope
Yeah.
that Fergus Quill doesn't get his hands on it and make everyone wear tinfoil.
Fergus Quill's hands are firmly on it, unfortunately.
Deeply ingrained.
His grubby tinfoil mitts are all over it.
Oh. Leaving aluminium wherever he goes. That's fantastic to hear, though, Will. That's great, especially considering over the past year, a lot has probably changed for you guys being, you know, doing so many events. That's where a lot of your energy was going. So I'm sure it's probably quite nice to have this to work on, something to focus on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, lockdown has been good for the old reflection. You know, yeah, a year of like taking the foot firmly off the gas and putting energies into having conversations about, you know, what do we want to do as a group of people, you know. So yeah, no, it's been good for that.
Yeah, rather than just full steam ahead all the time.
Yeah, indeed.
Speaking of full steam ahead, though, I'm sure you've got a lot about to happen. What is in the pipeline for future releases? Any events that we can start looking forward to?
What does the pipeline entail? So, coming up, we've got the Fergus Quill Trio. Their first single is coming out on the 19th, actually, which is Watusi. And then we've got another single from them on the 2nd of April, which is Sundream. And then we've got an album from them, which is on the 14th of April. So yeah, for those of you watching who don't know, the Fergus Quill Trio is a trio led by Fergus Quill, double bassist and composer, Nico Wooderson on keys, and Theo Goss on drums. So yeah, very exciting. It's a really, really spicy piece of gear.
Oh, I bet it is. I really bet it is. That's amazing. That's really exciting because you guys have been doing quite a lot recently as well. So you're getting more and more bands. You think that we'd run out, but no.
Leeds never runs out.
No, Leeds never runs out. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to shamelessly promo?
Absolutely. And then, yeah, after that, we've got like a live record coming out from the Mabgate Organ Trio. And then later on in the year, events are coming back, which is very exciting. So we get to get stuck into that again. Basically, yeah. We're basically, relaunching Chill With Us. So we've got Snaz back, Technoport and TC and the Groove family coming back in July, and then we've got Noya Rao as headliners in October. So yeah, it's all kicking off.
That is bringing events back with a bang. I feel like the cramped shoulders and hangover the next day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gonna be heavy.
That's great. I can't wait.
Yeah, me neither. So excited.
But yeah, and this is the beauty of independent and startup organizations who are just doing their own things and putting their own things on. And I think it's really, really cool. And I think if anyone is watching this and they're like, oh, I want to put a fun event on, just do it. And then come to Launchpad and we'll support you. Absolutely. It is not as simple as that at the same time.
Aisling, is there enough conversation left for me to warrant kind of like going in a place of better light? I've realised it's kind of got dark over the course of the conversation.
I know. Do you know what? Laptop is so bright. I feel like I have covered everything with you that I would like to. Yeah, I'm done now. You're all out of steam. Anything that you would really like to talk about, or any like last imparting wisdom that you think would be good to share?
You know what? I'm going to pass on some wisdom that was said during a Music Leeds kind of like conversation. I can't remember. It was a guy from Hull.
Stu Baxter.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I actually can't remember his name, but
the only man from Hull.
It's got to be him. But yeah, he, with regards to like funding and applications and all that kind of jazz, he kind of like bestowed upon me a bit of like light, which I liked. And he kind of said like, even if like you're not really confident about getting the funding, it's really good to apply for funding anyway, because it really puts into perspective your kind of like your plan. You know, it makes you think very objectively about like what is happening in my career right now, what's happening with the band or my artist project or whatever. So I would encourage anyone to like apply for Launchpad projects, regardless of where they are in their career, because yeah, it really helps you kind of get your shit together, essentially.
I totally agree with that because it gives you a sense of focus. It makes you sit down and say, like, what is the overall picture here? What are we actually doing? Rather than like, I'm doing this thing and I'm doing this thing and that thing's happening over there and that could be better, but whatever. It just really helps you to like get to the core of what you're doing and identify where you want to go as well.
Yeah, fully.
That's beautiful advice. Just to rehash what you've just said, like we are hoping to reopen the applications for Launchpad projects and artists in the next few weeks. So probably sometime. Yeah. Thumb finger, just like. So yeah, if anyone is thinking of applying, you can follow our social media or sign up to our mailing list, and you will find out more information about what we offer, the eligibility requirements for applying, and find out whenever we're going to open it. So yeah, Will, it's been a pleasure.
Indeed it has. Thank you, Ash.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll see you around.
Absolutely. It's all coming back, isn't it?
It is not quick enough. All right, well, thanks, Will. Have a good evening.
See you later.
Bye.